I don't think Fortnite players are smart. I've talked to a lot of Fortnite players. I've seen the way they play in scrims. They're definitely not smart.
That's because a lot of these guys don't bloody think. They don't think. Pro players are not that smart.
True.
I don't think pro
players
are that smart. And the fact that you guys all agree means it's maybe not as hot as I thought it was, but I'll still get into explaining it. For maybe the people who don't understand where I'm getting with this. A lot of people just assume because the people at the top are the pros and they're the best players in the world that they actually like think about the game in a way that is like coherent and logical and better than other people. Like a lot of people think, oh yeah, he's just smarter than me. I don't think that's the case in a lot of instances. Most pros are pros by result of consistent trial and error. So a lot of the pros, they play well because they played so much that they have in their head subconsciously in a lot of cases just realized what are the good and bad things through just playing the game so much. And through playing with other people and like just picking up small things from them that they've seen that have worked. In most cases, like people like us, like who are analysts who maybe don't play the game as much as these pros, we are forced to be smart because we have to have critical thinking. Like I can't put in the same hours a lot of these pros are putting in to play the game and to figure things out, trial and error. So I actually have to sit there and think, is this good? Why would it be good? You know, how does this like work? And I think where we see this in practice a lot of the time is when pros just don't try things or do things. Everyone just does. Like, it's literally a lot of the time just monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
And I look at moments like last Grands where like game 12, everyone just starts using that one pistol, right? what was the name of that pistol again? The lock-on pistol. It's we're in the middle of grand finals and it's like game 14 and people just start using it. And it's like nobody was using it before because a lot of these guys just don't even like think, oh, maybe this could be good because I can do this with it. Or let me try it. It's like a lot of them just go in, play the game how they've always played it. And again, it's like a trial and error thing. It's like they only will then consider it if it gets used on them. And now they have that experience of, oh yes, this somebody used this on me and it was cracked. Let me now try it myself. And if it's cracked, I'll keep using it. It sometimes is funny to me when like early on in the season, you see a pro like pick something up, like they'll pick up a new weapon, shoot about with it for a bit and be like, oh, this sucks. And then later down, a couple weeks later, it's just a meta. It's like, oh, but if this pro was so smart, how could they not figure out? It's because a lot of these guys don't bloody think. They don't think, right? Yeah. It's literally like that. A lot of these guys are not, you know, smart in that sense. And there's a lot of instances where this is the case. Like I've seen in other games as well. Like I think one of the most famous examples of it in a game would be CS, where there's this weapon for non-CS people. There's this weapon called the SG. It's like an assault rifle. If you are playing as like the terrorist side in CS, everyone just uses an AK by default. Like, that's the rifle you use. You use an AK. The SG was sat there for years, unchanged. It just was not like it had never been changed, never been updated. It was sat there for years. It was never used once in pro play. One day, I don't know who, but someone just was like, let me just like use it. It was the most broken AR. And all of a sudden now, for like a whole year, they eventually, I think, nerfed it, but like for a whole year, every pro was using the SG. But it wasn't like there was a change of it. It just wasn't used. Like a lot of pros, like they don't try things. They don't think to try things. They think at the basic level of just like what they need to do for their spot and their strat and what already works for them. And that's why I don't think pros are that smart. On top of that, let me add more because I want to keep adding more. Even we see it in Fortnite with like the ESL mode, the way like people are assembling teams, right? It's like a lot of people aren't actually thinking, what is like a good team here? Well, I need people with like good comms. I need one person who maybe has good comms but doesn't speak too much because we don't want to cut comms. I need one person who is that crazy fragger. I need one person who understands this. I need one person who I know has experience on LAN or on stage because he's not gonna shake when we're up in the finals against the best team. Like, but a lot of these guys don't think that. They just think, oh yeah, who's like the most cracked guy I know? Let's just get all of these guys. They don't think.
Yeah.
I
was going to quickly say, like, I think it's already happened this season multiple times. Waterbending. This is the biggest example of this season. It was sat there, nothing. The only time I really realized was Trulex picked it up for a second in the Performance Cup and then dropped it. I was like, wait a second. I didn't actually, no one has actually ever picked up the weapon before. I was like, could this actually be used? And then it was so broken. Like as we figured out in the end, it was so broken. And then no one really realized until Cammy used it, and still no one realized until Reese, you made your video. That was literally the reason everyone realized. It was like, and we've had that so many times, like Chain of Hades. Chain of Hades has been good. I know it's been buffed 4 times in a row, but it was good. But it was good even before like the last buff or the last 2 buffs. It was still very good. It still had the same interactions. It could still hit through walls. It has the same things, and it happens with so many weapons in the meta where people just say, "Oh, the pro players use this loadout. I'm now going to use this loadout. Am I going to think what suits me or what I think's good? Am I going to test things? Am I going to branch out and try and use different things?" No. Same with wings. We all can agree wings aren't very good. There are still top teams. There are still top teams that use wings. There is Clown and Axe Force. If you watch any of their games, they use wings every single game. They are the only team I've seen use wings every single game. Do I think it's good? No, but at least there are still some teams who are trying to use it. And it makes the game more interesting because, as you said, Levin, it's like there are untapped things. And we might have gone through seasons where there's been something OP where no one's ever used it. No one's ever tried it. Like, for example, in Asia right now, Zagu is using the Zeus Lightning Bolt every single game. Yeah, I don't know if you've watched it. He's using it to counter surge bases. So what he'll do is he'll like, because
that's obviously tomorrow's TikTok.
Yeah, there we go.
Tell them before semis.
What he does is he'll throw the first 2 shots away, like the first 2 like low damage one, and like the opposite way, and then throw the big damage lightning bolt at the surge base, and it'll break it. And he'll do that every single time, so that teams can't react to it, and then he can then rotate forward. And he uses it even in solos. He'll sometimes use double. He literally will use Zeus every single game.
I think it's interesting. I saw this message go by like last week or something, and it's relevant to Reese. And then someone said, "Does Resub actually think these guys think these things during in the moment?"
Say,
that's classic when you're
volume. Actually think that they're thinking this, and I don't think they are. Right? Like, obviously, it's our job as analysts and Reese as a YouTuber to sort of look into like what potentially the reason why people are doing things, but they aren't thinking that in the moment. They just know it from repetition and from experience. Like Levin said, at the end of the day, players don't know. You're not born being good at Fortnite. You're not born being smart in Fortnite, you know? And it's one of the things that people always talk about is genetics. Like, it's the ability to take in information, process it, and then give an output that is the best output in that scenario. And that comes from a lot of experience, a lot of playing, and for some people, it just, it's just they're good enough mechanically to get out of situations that are potentially bad as well for them. And I don't think Fortnite players are smart. I've talked to a lot of Fortnite players. I've seen the way they play in scrims. They're definitely not smart. No.
I think I was talking to Harry about this. One of the most like heartbreaking things is when you watch a team, like you take the time to go into the VODs, you watch their games, and you think to yourself, wow, these guys they've really got it, locked in, man. The strategy is on point. This is really good. And you actually then go and talk to them about their game plan and their strategy. And they are just like the most airhead, clueless drones ever. And you're like, what? Like,
they're just winging it. They're just winging it.
Literally, like, how has this manifested into what looks like a coherent game plan? But again, it's just like what we're saying, where it's a lot of these guys are learning things through trial and error. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like all of us right now, like your personalities, even down to like your voice and the way you sound, it's trial and error, right? Like you grow up, you learn things, you try things, certain things work, certain things don't, so you keep doing these things.
Is that how you got your voice? Is trial and error?
It's less how I got my voice, it's how I got like my accent, right? Because like I talk to people and it's like, I that's why you see a lot of the time it's your environment, right? And it's through trying things.
So you're saying I can't get as deep voice as you? You're saying
that's a genetic part I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's over.
Shout out, by the way, the one and only Shy Wager.
The one and only.
It feels wrong doing FNTASIA and Shy Wager's not here, but he's still here with us in spirit. And he says, debatable, I was born as a Fortnite prodigy. I think that's the debatable part.
That's a hot take. That's his hot take.
That is debatable. But
I think I was going to say one thing before we move on from this topic. I think I had a thing to add there. I wanted to add on top. Firstly, these players don't know shit most of the time. They do it by repetition, as Boop said. And when I explain something, I want to explain something so that everyone gets it if you have not gone through these repetitions. But I think the more interesting part, to be honest, is not only that not all of them are not that smart, I think the nature in which they practice makes most of them not that hard workers either. because the majority of Fortnite pros just play the game and they learn and repeat, and it works. So I'm not digging that. But if there comes a time where they have to put a lot of work into something, whether it's doing scrims that they don't want to, or practicing their aim, which absolutely fucking no one does, they don't do it. You know, and obviously there's maybe you have other cases for that. But I think the idea of just like sitting down and playing the game, by nature, if that's the thing that makes you good, makes you not put as much effort into other things that could also make you good if you don't enjoy them.
Yeah. Sort of linked to that in a way is, I think that's a part of the virus. I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but part of the problem is the nature of how much this game changes allows people to get away with that mentality where they don't have to try, because it's like, you know, a team will be dudded one season and just like, oh yeah, we're dudded this season. Like imagine a world where like the meta just didn't change. I'm not saying I want this, but imagine a world where that was the case, where the meta just didn't change for like a year and a half, 2 years. You couldn't like delude yourself out of, yeah, my drop spot's just bad this season, we'll run it next season. No, figure this shit out, bro. You're here. Like you gotta, you know, figure this stuff out. So
all right, if you enjoyed that was actually part of a full podcast. You can click right here, right there, and you can watch it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you don't watch this, I might fight you.